And I'm looking at these other things that I used to share, and I'm thinking, you know, I need to take my own advice here. It's not about the outcome. A good life is about appreciating the moment as it is. It's not about stepping back into our old lives. It's about stepping forward into our new lives. Being mentally and emotionally flexible to change and conform to the new. This is the way I did it before and how I plan on doing it again. This is a letter that I wrote myself right when I got home from the hospital after losing both my legs. I was 19 years old. Okay, so let's see if I can do it. Okay. I'm here and I'm alive. And I know why I'm alive. Because I wanted to be. Oh, I can't do it. Being able to snowboard like I do, or being able to dance, being able to work out, just doing all the stuff that I do. It's taken 20 years to get here. So to now possibly lose that was terrifying. This was the first time that I felt limited. This is the first time that I felt pain, that I felt disabled at times. This is the first time that I've had to heavily rely on others, like my husband, Daniel.
I love you, babe.
Too, baby.
It's not easy. I'm used to being so independent. This has given me a completely different perspective on what so many people go through. It's made me more of a whole person because I'm experiencing the depths of life, like the highs of life, but also the lows of life. It's like, you know, everything's still so raw for me right now. I want to be able to kind of share the things that I've learned and that I'm learning along the way. So, for the second time in my life, my world has flipped upside down. And for the second time in my life, it makes me want to cry, but I'm fighting to walk again. I think it does just add to the work that I already do. I try to relate to people, whether it's on stage or through social media or just in person, so that they feel like they're not alone. From me to you, whatever you are, be it all the way. What I've seen just through social media, like when I share my story, the amount of people who share their stories and what they're going through makes me realize just how many people are going through struggles and obstacles and challenges, no matter how big or how small. We relate to each other when we're vulnerable. You know, those stories we're scared to share, the stories that we feel like embarrassed by, or that make us feel a little bit uncomfortable, sometimes those are the stories we should be sharing because they make us human, and that connects us all. Okay, so this is it. I'm here and I'm alive, and I know I'm alive because I wanted to be. I feel stronger by my choice. I see it in my eyes, I see it in my smile, I see it in my skin, my family, and my friends. I'm more fulfilled now, more than I was before, because I shed my shell. And I feel comfortable with that, because I've accomplished so much just by being here right now. And just having enough faith that the universe is my guide and everybody around me are my angels and I'm theirs. I have no feet, but I have my spirit, and my spirit and my passion to learn are my wings. We can get so attached to thinking like life will begin when I'm better. And in our minds, we think better means what we were before. But, you know, you can be even better by just embracing where you are today. It's not about stepping back into who you were, it's stepping forward into who you could be.
Amy Purdy with a story of perseverance and an inspiration to so many. And Pete, we are so fortunate to have her. She will be here on site on Friday for the Adaptive Bank Slalom event, which makes its return here to the Dew Tour at Copper Mountain. So she'll be here on the host set with, I believe, Brad J. and Todd Richards will have the call for that one. But she has such a great story, and as I mentioned before, an inspiration. And we're happy to have her here, so tune in Friday. But we've got one more event to go here today from Copper Mountain. I'm Jimmy Coleman alongside Pete Arneson. And, well, Pete, Slopestyle course is closed for the day. They decided to move that one on. We'll get you schedule updates for how that's going to go throughout the rest of the weekend. But weather was the name of the game. We had a front that moved in overnight. We had some crazy winds. We had some blizzard conditions. And were you lucky enough to get those lovely phone alerts at 5 o'clock this morning?
That is what woke me up. I thought it was my room alarm going off. I started slapping the room alarm, and turns out it was my phone. So. Yeah,
it was wild. And they were talking about potential zero visibility situations on I-70, which is Copper Mountain. If you've never been here before, it's literally right off the interstate. But the winds were a big issue. We got some snow, not a ton of snow. It did slow down the speeds in the pipe and the slope course, of course. I just doubled up on that one. But the name of the game earlier for the men's ski Superpipe Qualifier was the wind. I mean, those conditions were bad from the start, and it's kind of tapered off now out here today.
Yeah, and the men handled it in that contest. I mean, speed didn't seem to be as much of an issue as we had thought it would be, and it has improved quite a bit, so we'll see how it goes for the
Trying not to jinx it by talking about it like that, but it was pretty bad to start, but everybody rose above. Taking a look back to how things went down earlier this morning into the afternoon over there in the men's ski Superpipe Qualifiers presented by Toyota.
Quite a stacked field out here. Skiers from the U.S., Canada, and New Zealand making it into finals. So look back at Noah Bowman there.
David Wise, your top qualifier with a 93.50. It was a 10 cut. We had 23 competitors in that qualifier. The top 10 moving on into the finals. And interesting to note, since this is an Olympic points qualifier here, we had 6 Team USA skiers in the field going into the finals, and they're all trying to vie for those last couple of spots on the USA team coming up with the Beijing Olympics looming in February.
Yeah, points to be had from this contest, and these guys are really trying to make one of those top 4 spots to get on that U.S. team and be able to compete for the USA in Beijing.
And it's been a lot of time here at Copper. You had the Grand Prix here just last week on this very same pipe. You had just down the road Steamboat. You had a big air event. So everyone's kind of been in this neck of the woods for a while. But taking a look up top of the mountain there, the sun decided to come out for a little while. Not too much with the wind. There appear to be blowing snow up there, so that's why you see a lot of that flying around. But that was the big story. I mean, visibility was also a problem, as you could see from our views, because we're at the bottom of the pipe. But some of the camera angles, I mean, you could barely see the start structure.
Yeah, snow blowing in off the top of the pipe and over into the pipe, creating somewhat of a snow-nado, Jimmy.
Listen, you better hang on to that one. The Weather Channel's going to get wind of that if they're watching, and they're going to take it from you. You better trademark that right now.
One of my life goals.
We talked about David Wise being your top qualifier, but it was Burke Irving. Let's tell that story. He was on the outside looking in. As we mentioned before, it was a 10 cut. Ben Harrington was sitting on that number 10 spot with that 71. Burke Irving in his second and final run got a 79 to bump him out. Ben would follow, had a chance to answer back, but he had a fall in that second run right off the top, and that was not enough to get him back in. So Burke Irving holds on, and he gets that last spot going into the final. And again, the weather is kind of the key out. That wind just kind of keeps popping its head up out here. But let's talk about the women's ski pipe qualifier presented by Toyota. We have 16 athletes in the field here, and we're basically cutting it in half. Only the top 8 are moving on. Just like the men's event, it's 2 runs. It's the best run that counts, and the best possible run score you can get out here today at the Dew Tour is 100. And you see that tagline at the bottom of that graphic that says overall impression. Pete, let's dive into that. What exactly does that mean? Explain exactly what the judges are looking for.
Overall impression is what the judges are basing off of their criteria. Progression, amplitude, variety, execution, and difficulty. And they're going to use all of those to get an overall impression of the run, which dictates their score. And their score is going to be put in there to rank the skiers as their runs come in, which one's better. So it's just used as a tool.
So you can see the blue skies kind of popping out there at the top of the mountain. Wind's still ripping around a little bit. So it's 22-foot walls on this super pipe out here. at Copper Mountain, and it is 575 feet from the top structure there, or from the top of the pipe, I should say. This top structure, or the start structure, is back a little bit of real estate there, and all the way down to the bottom, so 575 feet. So this thing is it's pretty daunting.
Couple football fields long. I don't know.
It's your second football reference
I don't know
of the day,
if your boy
sir.
Josh Allen could throw it that far, but maybe with this wind it might carry.
I bet I could throw a football over Copper Mountain, Pete. So again, it's 16 women in the field here, and it is an 8-cut, and there is your start list. We're going to start it off with Britta Sigourney. We're going to run it out with Zoe Atkin, but we're cutting the field in half here today, Pete, so a couple of standouts. Pick out some of your ones to watch for.
Well, I mean, for the Americans, we're going to be looking for Britta to come in there, as well as Devin Logan, the consistent half-pipe skiers over the last few years, looking to get a place on that team. But then we have names like Eileen Gu, who's been dominant in all aspects of free skiing this year and last year in slopestyle, half-pipe, and big air, just coming off the big air win at Steamboat and then the Grand Prix win here at Copper. So we'll see what she has. And then Kelly Silderoo is going to be in the mix as well.
So the name of the game here today, you're trying to get into the final, and of course this weekend there are Olympic points up for grabs as we head into Beijing in February of 2022. Before we get it started though, let's take a look back. It's been almost 2 years since we've been out here with the Dew Tour at Copper Mountain. Let's look back to February of 2020 and how it all went down in the Women's Ski Superpipe Final.
Let's take a look back on how we started the day here on day number 3 in the Women's Ski Modified Superpipe presented by Toyota. The Canadians were dominant today.
Cassie Sharp came out swinging, run number 1 with 2 big tricks, including a 1080 on the final hit. So absolutely stomping it in the first run.
An 85
sitting comfortably in that first place position, but right behind her was her fellow Canadian Rachel Carker, really fresh to the scene, back-to-back 900s and some massive airs on the new modified features, and just absolutely laying it down.
Cassie Sharp, Rachel Carker, and Zoe Atkin. I don't say it was a big surprise, but she gets herself on the podium, but not before this incident, as Cassie Sharp goes down hard, Tom, on run number 2.
Very, very difficult fall there. She ended up sitting out run 3 and hoping that her 85-point score would hold on for the win. Rachel Carker came in the third and final run, laying down an absolute hammer, but couldn't quite top that 85. Ended up with an 83, so ending up in second.
The Canadians go 1 and 2. Cassie Sharp, Rachel Carker in second, and American Zoe Atkin finishing in third place at the Superpipe presented by Toyota.
Olympics, so gonna see what happens here.
Well, we look up top there. The wind seems to have died down a little bit, so here we go. 31 years old out of Carmel, California. We are going to get the party started out here with Britta Sigourney. Again, it's 2 runs. Best run counts here in the qualifiers. You make it into the finals, you get 3 runs there in the finals. But here today, you just get 2 runs to try to impress these judges. It's the better of your 2 runs that count. Best possible run score you can get here at the Dew Tour. We're working off of a 100-point scale.
Yeah, Britta.
So there you go. See where she's going to start this off from here. She's going to start the party for us here today, Pete. Like she's going to drop into the pipe here from skier's right.
Britta known for her amplitude in her run, so we'll see how the weather affects her with the wind and the little bit of snow in the pipe. But she usually gets things started here with a big air off the first hit. Britta dropping in, getting things going with the big alley-oop mute grab. Nice and clean, high on that landing. Right into the left side 900, reaching back for that tail grab. And the straight air safety. Britta keeping that amplitude going throughout her run. The nice left side 5, and then finishing it off with the big cork right side 7. Nice run from Britta Sigourney to get things going.
A great way to start it off right there, as you mentioned before, amplitude and good landings right there. So Britta Sigourney's going to set the bar here to get us going for Women's Skis Superpipe Qualifier presented by Toyota.
Really showing off that amplitude, going big out of the pipe. Judges like to see the consistency of that all the way through her run on every hit. Getting things going. There's a look at that left side 900, so the biggest spin in her run, 2.5 rotations, bringing that one around. And then bringing it down to the left side 5 here, so just a little bit less, but a nice safety grab on that one. And then finishing it off with a right side spin. There's a look again at that left side 5. You can see her reach down with that right hand, get that grab. Judges like to see the grab held as long as possible into that nice cork right side 720 to end it.
So she sets a high bar to get it going right into the 80s to get things started. So there you go, an 80.25. She was just off the podium there at the Grand Prix on this very mountain. Last week she finished in 4th place. As we move on to our next competitor, 19 years old, all the way from Tallinn, Estonia. This is Kelly Silderoo.
And Kelly dropping the poles right now because she has a broken hand or a broken thumb. Skiing without him, but still skiing very well. She did very well at the Grand Prix here last week, dropping in, get things going on the looker's right wall with the right side 900 mute, and following that one up with the left side 540 lead tail grab, capping the end of her ski on that one. There's the alley-oop 540, so spinning up the pipe, followed up with the right side alley-oop, so both ways alley-oop 540s, the right side 720 tail grab, into the switch down the pipe 540 to the left, and the switch right down the pipe 540. So mirroring tricks top to bottom. Nice run from Kelly.
But you mentioned her having a good outing at the Grand Prix. She finished 1 spot ahead of Britta. She was on the podium. She finished in 3rd place here just last weekend. As we take another look here from her first of 2 attempts.
It's a little different take of a half pipe run here. Getting more tricks in with less amplitude. Difficulty of the tricks are definitely higher than Britta's, but she's not going as high out of the pipe. And that's going to play into the judges' overall impression of her run. So we'll see what they end up doing with it. There's a nice look at the alley-oop 540 to the right. She mirrored that from the trick before into the right side 720. And Kelly also has 2 switch hits in this run, and Britta did not have a switch hit in her run. So we'll see what the judges end up doing with it.
Just throwing up the hand at the end right there saying, thank you, Copper. Okay, so Britta set the bar with an 80.25. Let's see what the judges think of Kelly Silderoo as we have China's Fungui Lee up on deck. Kelly just chilling down here at the bottom of the pipe there, sporting bib number 352. So score not in yet. Judges may be having a conversation about that one down in the booth, Pete.
Well, it's tough because they're 2 very different runs. You look at Kelly's run, and she's not going as high. She's getting more hits in the half pipe, as opposed to Britta, who's going much bigger, getting much more amplitude, but doesn't have the degree of difficulty necessarily with the switch hits and with the different variations of spins. So it's definitely a tough debate when you're in that judge's booth, and I can see them right now arguing down there. Ian Meter probably has some sort of opinion.
Would you call it arguing or spirited debate?
Depends on who's in there. Yeah. with that crew, it's more of a spirited debate. They're definitely more lighthearted than some other judging crews.
All right, so the wait continues while everyone's just hanging out down there at the bottom of the corral, just sending some texts, maybe checking out some Instagram there. We've got the Fungui Lee out of Harbin, China, as we take another look at Kelly Silderoo's first run.
So Kelly also with a 900 in her run. So Britta had a 9 at the top as well. And there's a look back. Kelly going into those alley-oop spins, so spinning back up the wall as opposed to what's more natural, spinning down the wall. So it's a harder spin to do, to come around and do that into another trick. There's a look at that right side 720. And then the back-to-back switch hit. So definitely very difficult, but she's not doing it as high out of the pipe. So it's definitely one of those discussions that you have to weigh which one needs to be rewarded more versus the other.
So still waiting on that score. While we're waiting, it appears the Snow NATO has managed to find its way into our broadcast booth down here.
That'll happen, Jimmy. Earth is only half the battle.
I was waiting for it. You squeezed that one in there early.
Well,
good job.
I had to get it in there. I didn't want to forget.
Gold star. There we 88.75. So how about that? I guess the discussion was worth the wait if you're Kelly Silderoo. So that bumps her knocking on the door of the 90s there with your only 2 skiers in. First round, there you go. So Estonia sitting in the top spot here as of right now. Again, this is round 1 out of 2. It's your best run that counts. 18 years old out of China. This is Fungui Lee.
If that's any impression of what the judges are looking at today, they're definitely rewarding the more difficult runs, a little more trick variety. Get things started here with the air to fakie. A nice switch down the pipe 5. Completely corked on that one to the switch down the pipe 360. There's the right side 540, reaching back for that tail grab, maybe getting it for a second there. Into the left side 540. One more hit for the right side 7. Nice run top to bottom. Good variety of tricks as well.
Okay, first 2 scores in, we're in the 80s. You got an 80.25 and an 88.75.
So getting things started with those switch hits. Nice switch down the pipe 540, reaching down for that Japan grab, following that up with these other directions. So switch left 360 down the pipe. So both ways switch fins at the top. Similar to Kelly also having both way switch fins, but maybe not the degree of difficulty because of the spin amount. Making her way down the pipe, mixing up those grabs, reaching down for the Japan there. And here's a look at her last hit with the right side 720 safety, landing at the top of that pipe.
So she's going to check into the 80s as well at 82.75, so that's going to slide her into that number 2 spot right there between Kelly Silderoo and Britta Sigourney. Remember, it is an 8 cut out here in the women's field here today at the Ski Superpipe Qualifiers presented by our friends at Toyota. Up next, 19 years old out of Winter Park, this is Fayette Irving. Her brother Burke ends up hanging on to make it into the finals earlier today. Could it be a family affair here on the pipe today? Could they both get in?
I could see that happening.
We're about to find out here. She's about to put some work down here in round 1 out of 2.
Looking to drop in here on the looker's left side. I like that outfit, Jimmy.
What would you call that?
Salmon.
Good choice.
Yeah, salmon with, it's kind of like the little sections at the bottom of the salmon too. Little patches of different colors there.
Okay, so here we go with a good clip of speed. She's in on rider's rights. This is Svea Irving.
Get things started with a nice alley-oop with the mute grab. Followed that up with the left side 540 Japan. Into the right side 720. Keeping it together into the switch hit here with the switch down the pipe 360 mute. Showing off that grab so the judges can see it. Oh, into the right side 5, holding on. And the left side 5 to wrap things up. Another full pull. So we'll see where the judges put that one. A few little bobbles mixed in there, but making it all the way down. Also having those switch hits in there, so they've been rewarding the trick variety and trick difficulty with those switch hits in the run. So look back, here's that switch hit right there, the switch down the pipe 360. See her reach in front of her, biting and grab that ski, pulling back that mute grab. There's that right side 720. Nice little mute grab there, another angle of that one. Almost a Hutney. And a right side 540. That's where she had the little bit backseat bobble there, keeping it together.
She's going to check into the high 60s there. The 68.75 put her at number 4 position. Moving right along here, going back up to the top. Another Canadian competitor in the mix here out of British Columbia, 29 years old. About to welcome in Cassie Sharp here for her first of 2. Cassie out here at the Grand Prix last week, finishing in that number 6 position here.
Cassie, a perennial favorite out here, coming off a few injuries, but has been skiing very well. Skied well here at Copper last week for the Grand Prix, getting it started with a nice straight air mute grab into the flare. Nice and clean, landing high up on the wall, carrying speed in the left side 900 tail. Into the right side 3, setting up switch here with the switch left down the pipe 3. Getting a grab in there. Right side 900. So both ways 900s in that run. First skier to do that so far with the Polish donut into the corral. I love it.
Hear that weird audio effect right there at the end? You kind of went into this whole like tunnel sound there. There it is again.
Well, you know,
see what you're doing?
Space is hard, Jimmy.
You're 2 for 2 on those.
There's a look at that flare right there. Landing high on the pipe, carrying speed nicely into that left side 900, reaching back and almost getting that tail grab. There's another look at it, taking off, reaching all the way back around, spinning it around nicely, carrying speed into the next hit. The right side 3, and she followed that up with a switch hit, so also having a switch hit in her run. So we'll see what the judges end up doing with this one. First person with the both ways 900 so far. So definitely upping the difficulty. Here's a look at that right side 900. Landing nice and clean. Nice little carve into the Polish donut.
There you go. You get the slow-mo replay of that.
Love
so
it.
The high mark still to beat right now at 88.75 as we await the score here for Cassie. And she's going to check into the 80s with an 81.75, put her in the number 3 position with Abigail Hanson up on deck. And there we go. Just like that, we're right up to the top. She resides, or she's from Mammoth Lakes, California, I should say. 23 years young. Look, she's going to bring it into the pipe here from the skier's left side. So you got scores of 88.75, 82.75, 81.75, and 82.5 for your top 4. This is our 6th competitor in the run order here out of 16. So you're going through the motions here, Pete.
Also our third American to drop, excuse me. All of them looking to make those finals, get some points to try to get on that Olympic team. Dropping in right now. Getting things going on the looker's left wall with a nice left side 900. Oh, just getting hung up on the coping there and going down.
So a tough break right out of the start. However, the format is 2 runs, best run counts. So unfortunately, this one will be a throwaway, but she's going to get another shot at it here in round number 2. But a tough start here for Abigail Hanson.
Abigail getting going here. See her throw that 900, and as she comes around, her right ski just clips the coping a little bit too far over the top and falls 22 feet down to the bottom. That would put me out for a season, Jimmy.
Yeah, this thing is not very forgiving. And you're looking at it on dewtour.com. It may look monstrous on dewtour.com, but trust me, this thing is even more daunting in person with those 22-foot walls.
Not only that, they're sheer ice.
Yeah.
It's not soft by any means. This isn't powder skiing, and when you fall, you hop right back up. That does not feel good at all, falling down on your hip.
Well, that angle was a good shot of it right there because you can see the bounce off the lip. It just kind of pitches you down, and when you get that last bit of transition, that isn't fun whatsoever. So there's your current standings. Kelly Silderoo in a commanding lead as of right now with an 88.75, but we are not even to the halfway point of the run order here. And this is just round 1 out of 2 out of Carbondale, Colorado. She's 17 years young. This is Hannah Fallhaver.
Hannah known for her amplitude as well, going huge off that first hit.
Just blasting right there, first wall in.
Into the left side 720, so following that up with the switch right down the pipe, 360, good amplitude on that switch hit. Nice big flare coming into the opposite flare, so both ways flares back to back. And there's the left side 9, putting it down clean. Nice run from Hannah.
wasting no time, just going right back over, getting ready for the sled ride back up top. She's not even waiting for the react shot, Pete.
I love it. There's a look at that first big straight air, almost having to open up like she's base jumping up there. Into the left side 720, setting herself up switch here for the switch right down the pipe 3, reaching back, getting that Japan grab. So going big on the switch hit, always good to see. And then back-to-back flares, so showing flares in both directions.
A good carve there. She traveled a good clip of the pipe on that one too.
Wrapping it up with the nice left side 900 safety. Grabbing that safety, showing the judges that she had control all the way through. Very good run. See what they end up doing with it.
I was just going to get you. I was going to get you to do a little score predict here. Where do you think that one's going to be?
I'm going to say that's right up in that top 3. I mean, Kelly's run was very good, but didn't have the amplitude. It had more difficulty in the tricks, but she's going to be right up in that mix.
So that's
somewhere in the low 80s.
81.75 or better. If you're cracking into the top 3, it needs to be an 88.75 or better to challenge for the lead right now. However, it's just about getting into that 8 cut. That'll put her in the number 2 position with an 84.75. So in the early part of round 1 here, the 80s go all the way down into 5th place here. So we're off to a strong start here. Yeah, Annalisa Drew, as we look back up top.
Have a fun one.
Out of Andover, Massachusetts. 28 years old, so it's Silderoo, Fallhaver, Lee, Sharp, Sigourney, your top 5 as of right now.
Anna dropping in on that looker's left wall. Known for some big spins. We'll see what she has for us today. Getting it started with a nice straight air, getting the safety grab into the left 900. Nice and clean, high up on that transition, carrying speed into the alley-oop, flat spin. Into the left 540, getting a little down on the amplitude there. Into the right side 540, keeping it together and finishing off with the left side 7.
Somebody must be listening to these Space Force drops you've thrown in, because did you see we had a Space Force height meter there?
It's smart. It's good to have there.
You're doing some branding here, and people are listening, and they're rallying to your cause.
Well, people want to know that space is hard, Jimmy. There's another look at that left side 900, bringing that one around. Pretty good run. There's the alley-oop flat spin 540. She's one of only a few women in the field doing that trick. But ended up kind of losing a little bit of amplitude as she worked her way down. It's kind of big open there.
Yeah.
So a few bobbles. We'll look to improve on those on our next run, but a good run top to bottom.
Okay, Qixin Zhang coming up next. So a 61 flat for Anna. She's going to be in the number 7 spot, so that'll get her in as of now. But again, we're at the halfway point of round number 1 out of 2. And it is the better of your 2 runs that counts. A little bit of glove adjustment going on here at the top of the pipe start structure there. Qixin Zhang, 19 years old, out of China. Getting her first 2. Looks like she's going to send it here from skier's right. Story so far, our top 5 scores all in the 80s here to get this opening round started here in the Women's Ski Superpipe Qualifier presented by Toyota. She is in here in round number 1.
Another one of those skiers with the back-to-back switch hits. Getting it started here with the right 7 into that switch left 540 down the pipe. Following that up with the switch right 360 down the pipe. So back-to-back switch in the middle of her run. Straight air mute after that, keeping that amplitude going. Right side 540. We'll see what she has for us on the last hit. Left side 7. Nice run top to bottom there.
So 6 hits there, with the highest being 7 feet, courtesy of our U.S. Space Force height meter there.
I'm glad they're here for us.
They're just keeping tabs on it. They're letting you know how many hits and how high everybody's going.
Well, it's only half the battle, Jimmy. Getting going switch here with the switch down the pipe, 540, reaching back, getting that Japan grab, and then follow that up with another switch hit spinning to the right. There's a look at that straight air Japan into the right side 540. So spinning right, spinning left. Judges like to see skiers spinning both directions all the way down the pipe. showing that variety in grabs and spins.
That's going to put her in the top 8. She's in the number 6 spot there with a 75 flat. So now, with Annalisa Drew being a 61 flat, that's your bubble score as of now. I'm saying that a lot because it's the top 8 to transfer on. We have a Korean skier in the mix here. This is Yoo-Hin Zhang, 20 years young, getting the all clear to send it from skier's left. So it's a 61 flat, a 68.75, one score in the mid-70s, and after that it's all 80s going all the way up to the top with your current leader, still Kelly Silderoo right now with an 88.75. Here comes Yoo-Hin Zhang.
Dropping and getting things started with the nice left 900, landing high in the pipe, and the alley-oop, reaching back for maybe a little tail grab there. There's a left side 540, lead Japan. Into the right side 360, coming in switch to the skier's right wall, switch left down the pipe 360, the right side 540 safety. So nice run top to bottom there. Switch hits as well.
She's not waiting around for that react shot either. It's all business here.
The snowmobile rides are fun.
They're like, hey, I don't want to wait around. I'll get the score when I get up top. Get me on the sled, get me back up top.
Might be a little warmer in their booth than it is in ours. There's a look here at the left side 540. You see her reach back for that Japan grab. Maybe just a little touch there. So not as much amplitude as maybe some of the top women that we've seen so far, but definitely going to be right in the bottom of that mix, maybe sneaking into one of those last couple spots.
So she does with a 71.50. That'll put her in that 7th spot. So now it's Fayette Irving sitting there in 8th with a 68.75. So Annalisa Drew just got bumped down to 9th. So she'll have to answer back there in round number 2 to try to make her case to get back in to this top 8 out of Hillsburg, Ontario, up there in Canada. This is Rachel Carker coming off of a 2nd place finish in pipe here. Or, excuse me, Sabrina Kakmakli. Excuse me. Rachel Carker stepping out of this one. So Sabrina Kakmakli in the mix here.
Getting things started. Nice straighter reaching back for that tail grab. Little gust of wind pushing her in there. There's the left side 540 also going for the tail. Back-to-back 540s with the right side after that one. Straight air getting a nice Japan grab in there. Air to fakie safety grab coming in, switch right, alley-oop 3. Coming in for one more switch hit, switch right down the pipe. Couple back-to-back switch hits at the bottom. So a good run, maybe not challenging up into that top 8, but a good run top to bottom. Not as much difficulty as spins. There's a look at the left 540, followed up by the right side 540. Judges like to see them mirroring those tricks. But definitely a clean run. I mean, these women are looking to land a clean run and see if they can improve on run number 2 to see where it ends up ranking.
So we're looking up top here at Eileen Gu. We'll see what happens there with the score for Sabrina. It's Kelly Silderoo is still sitting in that top spot. However, your next skier, she got the win here in Copper. Also got the win in Big Air and Steamboat just down the road prior to this as well. So hold on to your hats, everybody. Representing China, this is Eileen Gu. So Sabrina, she's going to check in with a 57.25. So Fayette Irving still holds on to that bubble spot right now with the 68.75. So after Eileen's run here, we're down to our final 4 competitors in round 1, and then we started all over again and get into those second and final runs. So Eileen just giving it a beat here up top. You can see the winds are gusting up. You look at those Dew Tour wind blades at the top of the pipe right there. Yeah, it's getting a little nasty out there, Pete.
Don't talk about it too much, Jimmy. Don't want to jinx it.
I just tried to downplay it a little bit. You just give it a subtle little mention. Maybe it doesn't pay attention. Maybe it finds something else to do.
It's only half the battle. Eileen is a double threat out here at Dew Tour this week. She'll be competing in Slopestyle as well. But dropping in here in the half pipe, getting things going. Up on the looker's right wall. Starting off with the right side 900 Buick grab. into the left side 9, Japan. So back-to-back 9s to get things going. Right side 720, capping that tail grab into the switch left down the pipe 3. Alley-oop, flat spin with the mute. Nice grab on that one as well. And the left side down the pipe 540. Nice run. That is definitely going to challenge one of those top spots.
So Kelly Silderoo still hanging tough with that 88.75 as we await some highlights here and the score for Eileen. We've got Riley Jacobs on deck, Genie Crane Mosey, Devin Logan, and Zoe Atkin taking us out of the run order here.
Eileen getting things started with the back-to-back 9s. There's a look at that Buick grab, reaching around her body, grabbing both hands on that ski all the way around her. There's a look at the left side 9, reaching down behind her leg, getting that Japan in there, and then follow that up with the right side 720, capping that lead tail. Well, nice run. Doesn't have as much of the spins as Kelly really with the switch spins, but definitely some difficulty with the back.
Hey, we're into the 90s there. That's a 93.50, and we have a new leader. Eileen Gu finds herself in the top spot there. So now that bumps Yun Jang down to that bubble spot. So Fayette Irving on the outside looking in. So the bubble changes, Pete. It's now a 71.50 with 4 skiers left to go here in this run order of round number 1. Out of Oak Creek, Colorado, we welcome in Riley Jacobs. Gonna start it off from skiers right. And here we go.
Doing a couple sets up top, little ode to Maddie Bowman. Get things going with the right side 900, laying that one out nice and corked into the left side 720, sneaking that one through. Switch right down the pipe 360 safety grab. There's a left side 540 right at the top of the coping there. And a right side 5 to wrap it up.
So that'll do it there for number 1 for Riley Jacobs. We got Genie Crane Mosey on deck, Devin Logan, and Zoe Atkin. So Yun Jang, now the bubble. The bubble's been a change in here in round 1, Pete.
There's a look back at that right side 9, get things going. There's the left side 5, just a little bit low in amplitude as the run kind of continued. She'll look to maybe improve that in her second run, but still a clean run top to bottom.
Trying to see where that put her in the mix on the scoring monitor there. Hasn't popped up just yet. We got Genie Crane Mosey coming up there. She goes 64.50. So Riley not going to get into that 10 cut. Or excuse me, the 8 cut. She's going to be in 10th as of right now. So 3 skiers left to go in this round, Pete. Let's take a look at our current standings there. How about that run by Eileen Gu? Only one to score in the 90s thus far with a commanding 93.50.
Well, and the scary thing is she has a few more tricks to mix into that for finals, so she's going to be tough to beat here this weekend.
Like I said, coming off the win on this very pipe just last week when they held the Grand Prix here at Copper. Out of Park City, Utah, 25 years old. About to welcome in Genie Crane Mosey.
Genie starting things off, dropping into the half pipe right now. The left side 540, wrapping that one around, backing it up with the right side 5, so back-to-back 5s to get things going. Nice straight air Japan, really showing that grab off for the judges. Into the right side 7, so landing switch coming in backwards to this wall with a switch left down the pipe 5. Nice run there. See where that ends up putting her. She's going to be right in that mix as well.
I haven't really I haven't really held your feet to the fire here with score predictions that much on this one. I have to throw you. I think you walk the plank here in the next round.
That one is going to be mid-50s, Jimmy.
Mid-50s?
Yep.
All right.
Mid to low 50s.
I'm going to get you to claim your bubble spot score like you did in the men's comp.
I'm still thinking we're going to be in that upper 70s, right around 80.
Okay.
Yep.
Marking that down.
Like Genie's score came in at a 54, so that would be a mid-50s, would it not?
It would, sir. See?
I've done this before.
You're just once or twice? Yep. So that'll put her in 13th as of right now. 2 left to go in round number 1. All the way from a little place called West Dover, Vermont. She's 28 years old. So we get set to bring in for her first 2. This is Devin Logan.
Devin, always one of the favorites out here, now residing in Park City, Utah. I was lucky enough to spend a few days at her house en route on my honeymoon. So got to hang out with her and her boyfriend, Travis. Devin getting things going here. Nice big straight air Japan. Followed that up with the right side 5 Japan. Getting that grab in. To the left side 540 Japan. So back-to-back 5 Japans, mirroring those tricks. There's the alley-oop. The left side 7, bringing it around switch, coming in for the switch left alley-oop. Nice run, and Devin landing that one clean.
So our bubble spot still holds up as of right now with a 71.50. Keep in mind we still await the score here for Devin's first run, and then we have Zoe Atkin to round out the run order.
There's a look back at Devin with those back-to-back 5s, mirroring those tricks. So doing the Japan grab on both of them, but spinning in opposite directions. Here's a look back at her last trick, that switch left alley-oop, bringing it around, almost getting a little snow snake there in the bottom. And a nice run for D-Lo. Always great to have her out here.
Yeah, she's been a part of the Duke Tour going all the way back to 2010.
She has. Definitely one of those ones. Also, shout out to Deb for coming to my wedding. Good fun.
You're giving all kinds of shout-outs
well,
today.
I mean,
I'm not knocking it.
She got to stay in my van. She had a good time. Travis came too. We enjoyed ourselves.
Hey, look, and she just got herself right there on the edge of the cut with a 73 flat. That puts her in that number 8 spot. So now it's a 73, and you called it. You called it high 70s, low 80s. So we're inching ever closer to your prediction.
Well, I mean, Ian Meter's really my only person that can mess that up. And he is sitting in the judge's booth, and he's messed a few things up before, so we'll see.
Like today, or just you mean lifetime in general in your friendship?
I don't want to dog on him.
You're not throwing him under that bus?
No, I'm throwing him under the bus. I'm just not backing over him yet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, we're right now out of Park City, Utah. This is Zoe Atkin. I hope they can hear us down there.
Huge left 540 to get things going from Zoe into the right side 720. Switch left down the pipe 7. So back-to-back 720s, alley-oop, flat spin with the Japan. Nice run shaping up here for Zoe. Coming in, switch again with the switch right down the pipe 5. So both ways switch spins. Nice run there from Zoe.
And that'll take us out of round number 1. So we'll take a look at some replays here, see what the score checks in with for Zoe. And then we go back up top, and it's round 2. And then we're moving on to the finals.
There's another look at that left side 5. Look at her get that mute grab, slide her hand all the way out towards the tip on that one, showing the judges complete control. Followed up with the right side 720. There's a great look at her. Look at her reach down right in front of her binding and then slide her hand all the way up towards the tip. A much more difficult version of doing that mute grab, but shows a lot more control. Then the switch left down the pipe 7, so the biggest switch spin we've seen so far in the women's contest. Definitely think that's going to jump her up into the top 8. We'll see where she ends up getting, but I would assume it's going to be up in one of those top spots.
And your assumption was right on the board. 87 flat, that'll put her in the top 3. So the 80s go all the way down to 7th place at the conclusion of round number 1. So Devin Logan gets bumped out. It's now Kishin Zhang sitting on that bubble spot right now. So this is how we stand at the end of round 1. You need a 75 or better if you're jumping into that top 8. However, it's not over yet. We've still got one more round of runs to go. It's best run that counts. We'll have the conclusion of the Women's Ski Superpipe Qualifier presented by Toyota when we come back to Copper Mountain. So welcome back, everyone, to Copper Mountain here. The Dew Tour returns here in 2021. We have completed round number 1 out of 2 here in the Women's Ski Superpipe Qualifier. Taking a look at some highlights from that first round, Pete.
There's a look back. Zoe Atkins run nice big left 540. Probably one of my favorite tricks we've seen so far today. Really showing off that grab.
Yeah, that was enough to propel her up into that number 3 spot and bump Devin Logan out. Remember, it's an 8 cut out of the 16 competitors in this field here today.
Look at Kelly Silderoo there, sitting in 2nd place right now. She definitely has more to give, but Eileen Gu, really the person of the day so far, setting herself well above the rest of the field with that first run, and she has more to give.
And as we mentioned before, coming off of the pipe win here on this very mountain just last week, and that big air win in Steamboat. But it is far from over. Taking a look at the die line there on the lip of the pipe and your current standings. 1 score in the 90s. It's Eileen Gu. Kelly Silderoo early on, she was 2nd competitor in. Set a high bar with an 88.75. It's got her in 2nd place as of right now. Devin Logan just on the outside, looking in. Can she bump back up? It's only a couple of point separation. 73 for her. It's a 75's that bubble as of right now. So still some work to be done here on the women's side of things in the Ski Superpipe Qualifier.
Okay, when you're ready.
Getting ready to go back up top. You can hear there
30 seconds.
comp control saying whenever you're ready. Here's Britta Sigourney starting us off once again. She is in the top 8. She set the bar with an 80.25. Can she give herself some breathing room here in this 2nd and final round?
Britta currently in 7th place, looking to be in a little more of a safe spot after this 2nd run, because that is definitely a spot that a lot of other American flags are looking to jump in there for some points. So Britta dropping in here, looking for some amplitude. One of my favorites here, their first hit, that alley-oop, getting that mute grab. Coming into the 2nd hit with the left side 900, reaching back for the tail. Followed up with a nice straight air safety grab. Britta into the left side 540 mute. Right side cork 7, landing that one clean. So very similar to her first run. We'll see if the judges think it's an improvement.
I was gonna say, you think that's gonna bump that 80.25, or is she gonna have to hang out there in 7th for the rest of this?
Her score may improve, but I don't know if she's going to overtake Cassie ahead of her. It's one of those tough ones where it is the same run. She may have improved on a few different things. A couple grabs were better, so we'll see if she bumps up ahead of Cassie, putting her in a safer spot.
Yeah, Cassie's got a full 1.5 ahead of her. Pretty tight grouping in the middle there, though. Then you got Fungui Lee with an 82.75, so it's close there in the middle of the pack.
So look back at the end of Britta's run here. The left side 540, you see her reach down, get that mute grab. So maybe improving grabs all the way through her run, and a nice cork 720 to the right. So spinning both directions. See what it does here for Britta.
Wait for it. So an 81. So it's going to improve the score, but as you called it, Pete, it's not going to be enough to overtake Cassie Sharp in the standings. So she will stay in that number 7 position. So she's in as of now. Not a terrible spot to be. However, you'd love to give yourself a little bit more breathing room with the 2 Americans in the top 8 as of right now. Kelly Silderoo back up on deck. She was in the top spot from position with an 88.75.
Kelly's in a pretty safe spot here right now, sitting in 2nd, but we'll see if she wants to improve on that score. There's the right side 900 mute. Followed that up with the left side 540 tail grab. Both good grabs. There's the alley-oop 5. Little gust of wind pushing her into the pipe. Right side alley-oop. Back-to-back alley-oops again. The right side 720 setting up for a couple switch hits here with the switch left down the pipe into the switch right down the pipe, mirroring both of those tricks. Definitely an improvement, but I don't think it's going to bump above Eileen.
So looking to hang on to that 88.75 possibly. Keep her in 2nd place, but again, as you mentioned, a comfortable spot to be in, but the wind seemed to kick up just a bit and fight in the elements as she made her way through the pipe here in round 2.
Well, I mean, as we were talking earlier, Earth is only half the battle, Jimmy. And so she's ending up battling this half pipe as well as the weather. But an improvement on a lot of her grabs. A little more amplitude as she went down on the lower half of the pipe. So I look for an improvement in the score, but definitely not jumping above.
So what you're saying is she was using the space in the pipe to force her way through the elements.
It's more than just gamma rays and black holes, Jimmy.
So 86.25, she'll stick with that first run score. Second place, not a bad spot to be, like we said. It's not about getting on the podium today, it's about making the 8 cut. Get yourself into the finals. Get through this weather. Up next, representing China, we've got Fungui Lee. She's in the top 8 as of right now. She finds herself in that number 5 position pre-run with an 82.75 from round 1.
Looking to just improve on the little things from her first run. Maybe get a little bit more distinct grab. Great air to fakie there. Coming in switch with the switch right 540, nice and inverted. The switch left 360, getting the Japan on that one. Right side 900, wrapping up a bigger spin there. Following it up with a nice big left 5, increasing amplitude as she's going down the pipe. Right side 720 to end it. So definitely an improvement.
Will it be enough to overtake? She's got Hannah Fallhaver ahead of her. 2 full points ahead. Hannah's got an 84.75. Still got Qixin Zhang sitting on that bubble spot with a 75. And you predicted it earlier. You said high 70s, low 80s for that transfer spot.
These judges are usually pretty consistent. I say usually pretty consistent. So it kind of depends on what they end up setting their range at the beginning of the contest. So they ended up having their first couple runs be in the 80s, and then they've adjusted from that to go up and down.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back to Copper, we'll take a look at some replays from Fungui Lee, and we'll get you some scores. Stick around. More to come here from Copper Mountain Dew Tour.
Dew Tour is brought to you by Mountain Dew. Do the Dew. Safeway. Fresh food.
Number 2 here of the women's Superpipe Qualifier presented by Toyota. Camera down earlier, so now we're run with an 82. Take a look at some replays from Fungui Lee, who we just saw prior to going to that break.
Looking to just improve on the little things from her first with the mute. Behind her leg, getting that Japan grab. And then into the switch hit here with the switch left down the pipe 3. Holding that mute, almost a Hutney where both legs don't come up. There's the right side 5. And then the biggest spin of the run here with the left side 900, but landing it nice and clean. So we'll see if that is an improvement. We'll look up top at their coach.
So is he going to be, oh, so close. She was in 11th. She needed a little bit better than a 75, so she gets a 74.5. I know it's going to have to settle for 9th. However, got to give her credit for bumping up those 2 spots right there, trying to make it happen here in round number 2. The next competitor representing Canada, currently in that top 8, Cassie Sharp, sits in that number 6 position, coming off of a 6th place finish here in Copper at the Grand Prix just last weekend.
Cassie, another one of those skiers with a lot more tricks in the bag. We'll see if she wants to improve on that 6th place score of an 81.75. Getting things going, starting off on the looker's left wall. The nice big straight air with the mute grab. Into the flare, getting the safety grab on that one, improving that. Left side 9, nice and big, landing a little low but carrying speed. Into the right side 3. Coming in switch, the switch left down the pipe 3. And then the right side 900. And that will do it for Cassie Sharp. Both ways 9s.
So what do you think? Improvement on that 81.75?
I think it could definitely jump up. She has the both ways 9s. Her grabs were a little bit stronger on that one. We'll see what the judges end up doing. There's a look back at that first hit. Nice big straight air mute. And then the flare, you see her reach back and lock in that safety grab on that one. And there's the left side 900, better grab on that one as well. So the judges are gonna take that into note and see if that's gonna give her a few more points on her score to bump ahead of Hannah, who is in 5th above her.
So an 83.25. She will improve the score, but she needed more than 3 full points to overtake Hannah Fallhaver for that number 5 spot. So she will stay. She's in for now. We'll see if it holds up as we take a look up top here. Abigail Hanson, representing the USA, had a rough go that first go around. That's why you see that 5.50. She is down in last position as of right now. After Abigail, we've got Hannah Fallhaver and Annalisa Drew coming up next.
I've got it. Got it. Yeah, got it.
Good to see if Abigail can get past that first 900 that kind of caught her up on the deck. Sans poles right now, so maybe looking to get a little better grabs, being able to hold onto her skis, see what she can do. She could use the poles probably right now to skate over a little easier.
Trying to moonwalk back in position there. So eyeing it up, see the intensity there, giving it the stomp. And here we go. Let's see if Abigail Hanson can bump up here.
Getting things going with the left side 540, wrapping it to 7, going in switch here with the switch right down the pipe 540. Getting a safety grab on that one, back-to-back switch down the pipe 5s. The switch right 360, a little double Japan in there, both hands making it onto the ski. So losing the poles, but grabbing more. And there's the alley-oop with the Japan, nice run.
Well, that's definitely going to overtake that 5.50 from round number 1. The question is, how far up the ladder is it going to take her?
See her starting off here with the left side 7, stepping back from going for the 9, but then followed it up with 3 back-to-back-to-back switch tricks. There's the switch right down the pipe 5, followed that up with the switch left down the pipe 5, and here's a look down at the bottom, left 540 mute grab, locking in that grab. The nice alley-oop, there's the Japan on that one, so no poles, lots of grabs.
What do you think? 75 flats that bubble. Is that going to do it?
She's definitely going to improve. I'm not sure if it's going to threaten the top 8. We'll see what they end up doing with it.
Taking a look up top there. Our next competitor, Hannah Fallhaver. Score, Abigail is going to bump up to 12th, so not enough. So Keishin Zhang stays safe in that number 8 spot for now, and she's still got another run yet to come. Actually in 2 skiers after our next competitor. So Hannah Fallhaver finds herself in that number 5 spot with an 84.75. She takes it into the pipe here from skiers right.
And with a lot of amplitude on her first run. And there we go, straight air tail grab. Nice and clean this time. And another straight air with the mute. Looks like she's just cruising, getting used to the pipe. Another straight air there. So just cruising on this one. She's going to stick with her first run score of an 84.75, currently in 5th place. So we'll see if that pays off for her.
Yeah, just 1 full point behind Fungui Lee. So we got Annalisa Drew coming up next, and we got Kishin Zhang. So we'll see how this unfolds, and then we're at the halfway point here.
There's definitely a few skiers down below here that can threaten that top 8. So we'll see if just taking a cruiser run is going to be the right call.
The halfway point here in round 2, I should say. So again, just to recap the standings, Eileen Gu, only one in the 90s thus far, that 93.50. And again, Kishin just hanging on to that 75. This is Annalisa Drew.
Yeah, Anna, get it.
There's Anna, she's in 14th. She had that 61.
And another one of those Americans trying to break into this finals, trying to get points to make her way to China for the Olympics. Big Patriots fan. I'm sure she enjoyed that 3-pass victory a couple weeks ago. Sorry to bring it up again, Bills fans.
I love how you dubbed it the 3-pass victory. Oh no, just getting
going. Little back seat there, but still keeping it together. There's the alley-oop. A little straight air there, but definitely lost a little momentum, landing back seat on that one. And she's going to have to stick with her first run score of a 61.
Yeah, that's not going to be enough to get in. So tough break there for Annalisa. So now we're at the halfway point here in round number 2. 8 down, 8 to go. Just leaning back there, coming down the wall. And that was it here for run number 2 for Annalisa.
There's not a whole lot of room for error in this half pipe. As soon as you make one little bobble, one little mistake, it kind of sets a precedent for the rest of your run.
So Eileen Gu's not going to take her second run, we're being told, so she's happy with that 93.50. As we mentioned earlier, the win here in Copper at the Grand Prix last week, win in Steamboat at the Big Air, so she's happy with that 93.5. She says, hey, you know what? I'm done. I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to watch the rest of this unfold. You got Kelly Silderoo, Zoe Atkin, you got Fungui Lee, Hannah Fallhaver, Cassie Sharp, Britta Sigourney, and Kishin Zhang rounding out the top 8, and Kishin is now up next with the chance to try to bump herself up, give herself some breathing room. She's the only one in the top 8 not in the 80s or 90s here. We have 1 score in the 90s, and it's all 80s except for that number 8 spot. So with 7 more behind her still to ski, she would love to bump that score up.
Let's go, Kishin. Go!
Kishin moving it over there to the rider's right side of the pipe.
Getting things going. Definitely some room to improve on that first run. She has the tricks, trying to clean them up, maybe add some grabs here and there, a little more amplitude, and bump herself up out of that 8th place bubble spot. Get things going up on the looker's right wall. Right side 7, reaching back for that tail grab, maybe touching it there for a second. Into the switch left 9. So the first switch 9 we've seen today. Into the switch right 360. Nice big straight air, a little critical. And the right side 540. Let's see what she has for us on her last hit. Left side 7. So definitely upping the difficulty. We'll see what the judges end up doing with that. It should improve that score and see if they'll bump up a couple spots, get her off the bubble.
I should correct myself too. There's 6 after her because Eileen Gu was part of that 7. And we just told you that she's not taking her last run. So and of that 6, you got Zoe Atkin, who's already in the top 8.
So look at that switch 9. So biggest switch spin we've seen today in the women's contest. Wrapping that one all the way around. 2.5 rotations, switch to switch in the half pipe. And then following it up with another switch hit with the switch right 360. out here ripping, looking to hook those big scores, Jimmy. We'll see if that puts her up a little bit higher and off that bubble spot.
So she does bump the score up 2.5 points. It's a 77.50 for her in run number 2. However, it's not enough to overtake Britta Sigourney, so she will stay in that bubble spot for now. So Yoo-Hin Zhang out of Korea, just 2 spots down there, 3 spots down. She's in that number 11 position.
2 spots down, better than 3 doors down, Jimmy.
Sometimes I don't even know where to go. I don't even know where to go with you on that one.
Just out here jumping, jumper.
So starting off from skiers left here.
It's the nice big left 900, little back seat, but keeping it together into the left side alley-oop. The left side 540 after that one. And the right side 3, setting up switch, coming in backwards to the wall with the switch left down the pipe 360. And finishing it off with the right side 5 safety. A nice run there. Very similar to her first run, so I'm not sure if it's going to bump up in that score. We'll see what the judges end up doing with it. But another clean run. A look back at that nice 900, reaching back, almost getting that tail grab, scrubbing that one down. The alley-oop. Alley-oop is spinning up the pipe, so the opposite of natural. It's more natural to spin down the pipe as you're traveling, so spinning up is a lot harder. There's a right side 5 to finish off her run.
So she's going to have to stick with that first run score. So Kashin Zhang hangs on there with that 77.50. So now we're down to Sabrina Kagmakli. Where's Sabrina out there? She's down in 15th. She had a 57.25. See, you're already getting texts about that 3 doors down reference.
Yep, shout out to my brother. He's out there listening right now. I know he enjoyed that 3 doors down reference. My whole family's listening, so shout out to them as well. More shout outs for you.
That's coming up at Christmas dinner. Here we go. Sabrina is in for her second and final attempt.
Going to that left side 540, following it up with the right side. So back-to-back 5, spinning in both directions. Nice straight air with the Japan. The right side 720, coming in switch to the switch alley-oop. And then following it up with another switch hit with the switch right down the pipe 360. Back-to-back switch hits. Very similar run again. I'm not sure if that's going to threaten that top 8 into finals. Here's a look back up at the top. The left side 540. You see her reach back and just touch that tail grab. And then followed up right after that with the right side 5. So spinning both directions. Nice and clean.
Bump the score up a couple of points. You ended up with a 60, but it's not going to improve the placing at all. So we're down to our final 4, because as we told you earlier, your current leader, Eileen Gu, electing to not take her second run. So that'll move us on to Riley Jacobs. Of our final 4, 3 are on the outside looking in. You got Zoe Atkin who goes last. She's in that number 3 spot as of right now. So basically, at this point of the competition, only 3 challengers left here to our top 8.
All 3 of those being from the U.S., all of them trying to get more points to get into those Olympic qualifiers. You got to get into finals to do that.
Here comes Riley Jacobs out of Oak Creek, Colorado.
Getting it started with the right side 9, nice and clean on that landing. The left side 7, losing a little bit of amplitude there. Into the switch right down the pipe 360. The left side 540 reaching down for the Japan grab. And the right side 5 to finish it off. Nice run from Riley. See what happens with that one. Definitely a couple improvements there. So we'll see if the judges take notice to that. There's a look at that left side 900, so right side 900. 2.5 rotations, and then backing it up with the left side 540, wrapping it to 7. right 5, opposite safety to finish it off. Looks like an improvement on her first run score, but keeping the same ranking.
Yeah, a quarter of a point there, so she's going to stay in that 13th position. So that means it all comes down to Genie Crane, Mosey, and Devin Logan. As we've said before, Zoe Atkin takes us out, and she's already in the top 8. She sits in that number 3 spot. So we're down to 2 challengers here, Pete. Genie finds herself in that number 16 spot with a 54 flat.
Getting things started. She has the tricks to get in there. We'll see if she brings in left side 540. Little scrub into that one, losing some amplitude. There's the right side 5 after it. So starting off with back-to-back 5s. Straight air Japan on that one. And the right side 7, just washing that one around. Little gust of wind, losing some speed there. Finishing off with the switch down the pipe 5. Nice run there from Genie.
2 competitors left to go. As we take you back up top, take a look at some highlights. Genie's second outing.
There's a look at those back-to-back 5s. Starting off with the left 5 into the right 5. There's that nice straight air Japan grab. Just catching that gust of wind there. Look at that baby snownado coming in.
The micro snow burst, if you will, and she's going to settle for 2 points less on that run. So it all comes down to Devin here. Devin's the last one that can challenge. She's just 2 spots out. She had a 73. She was there. She got bumped down 2 spots. You need a 77.50 or better to get into that top 8 of our final 2 competitors. This is the last one that can challenge. Otherwise, our final 8 will be set going to the finals. It all comes down to this last run here for Devin Logan.
Come on, D-Lo. Getting things started here. Left side 900, upping the difficulty, getting it going. Followed that up with the right side 5. So already an improvement into the left side 5, getting a nice Japan there. Increasing that amplitude. Alley-oop with the critical. Right into the left side 720. One more hit for Devin. Switch, alley-oop. Nice clean run. Definitely an improvement. We'll see if the judges want to put that up. Nice run from D-Lo. Always love seeing it.
The question now, will that be enough with Zoe Atkin left to go?
There's a look at that 900. So increasing the difficulty there. Getting that one around clean. Right into the right side 5. There's that left side 9 again. So really bumping up the difficulty and keeping that amplitude throughout the rest of her run. Definitely an improvement on that first run. So look for that score to bump up. See if that'll threaten that top 8. Try to get Devin into finals. There's the left side 7. And finishing it off with a nice switch hit with the switch alley-oop 5. Getting the safety grab in there. So a great run from Devin.
She's going to need a 77.75 to overtake Kashin Zhang. And wait for it. The suspense, everybody's waiting for it. Is it going to be enough? And it was so close, but just not enough. A 76 that bumps her up to 9th. So she overtakes Fayette Irving and gets 1 spot closer, but it's not going to be enough. So Kashin Zhang hangs on because our last competitor is already in the top 8. She sits in that number 3 position here. Zoe Atkin taking us out of competition here in the Women's Ski Superpipe Qualifier presented by Toyota.
Zoe already sitting in that 3rd place, safely in the finals. We'll see if she's just going to cruise on down or work on her finals run here. She's getting it going. Nice, big left 540 with the mute grab. Great amplitude on that one. Right side 720, getting the tail in there. And the switch left 7, little bit of a squat through that, but keeping it together. Alley-oop, flat 5. Oh, and just going down on that one. Losing one of those pointy sticks with grips.
So hop back up, collect the carnage, ski on down, and hey, she's already in. She had herself in third place by virtue of that first run. So our field is set. Pete going into the final here. Take another look at this last outing here for Zoe.
Great left 5 mute. Love how she slides her hand up on that mute grab. There's another look at that right side 720, just touching that tail grab for a second. She's gonna stick with that first run score.
So that is it for the pipe qualifiers on the ski side of things out here for Dew Tour Copper Mountain 2021. Take a look at our final standings here, our results, if you will, going into the final. Once we get in that final, run them in reverse order as to how they qualified. So here comes the big reveal, your final standings. And how about that performance by Eileen Yu with a 93.5 up. But again, you know, got to give a shout out to Kelly Silderoo. You know, she was the second to drop here, and she popped up an 88.75, and that held on for second place. But we got 2 American competitors in there with Hannah Fallhaver and Britta Sigourney. And China has 3 representatives going into the final as well, with Estonia, Canada, and the UK also represented on that field, Pete.
Oh, I'm looking forward to finals. It's going to be a great showing.
And again, we keep talking about it's not just about standing on that Dew Tour podium here. It's also about Olympic qualification points, as that is right around the corner. It was a tough break there. I mean, again, we got to give a big shout out to Devin Logan. She was so close. She needed a 77.75. She had to settle for a 76. Good performance there by Fayette Irving as well.
Yeah, tough day just outside of that points, trying to get into the finals, but they'll look for the next one. Great skiing from everyone out here, even with the tough weather conditions.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, the weather was definitely a factor out here. We had to cancel the Slopestyle snowboard events out here today, but we're gonna, you know, it's what we do. We work on the fly around here. We'll update the schedule. We'll make some changes and whatnot, but there's lots more to come here from Copper Mountain for this little party that we call the Dew Tour here over the course of this weekend. So we got men's and women's snowboard halfpipe qualifiers tomorrow, as well as the slopestyle qualifier. So it's a big day tomorrow out here, and the weather's moving out of the area this afternoon and into tonight. So it is going to be a big finish out here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank you guys for watching the Dew Tour. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you come right back here to dewtour.com.
Both my grandparents are 100% Italian, so it's always been a big part of my life and a lot of the culture growing up. To be able to but how can you better yourself every day? Like, if you can look in the mirror and say you gave it everything you had, then that's all you can ask for. But you got to make sure that you're honest with yourself and that you did give everything you had. You know, a lot of people have a hard time understanding why, for one, I'm still competing and still going as hard as I am, you know, at my age in a sense, but you kind of have to break it down per every 4 years, right? Vancouver 2010, made the team, everything was great. I walked away with some landed runs on the biggest stage that I've ever competed.
4 double corks in a row.
2014 was probably my hardest year because From Vancouver to Sochi, I podiumed 22 out of 25 events.
Well, the judges appreciated a 98 from Louis Vito.
Won 2 Dew Cups, overall Grand Prix, podiums at X Games, at the Open, and then the qualifiers came. Didn't get a good score. I think I got 4th majority of the time. And that one really hurt because I was riding so well every year leading up to it. And then it was like, all my stuff was just ice cold. In 2018, I started to ride pretty well, and then I broke my back at Dew Tour. I had a tear in my L4, bulge in my L5, broke my back. So it was just one of those where I think it could have been a big difference if I would have been able to stay healthy, but things happen for a reason. Now we're in 2022 and still love it. There's always the battle of getting tricks back that you might not have done for a while, perfecting tricks and learning new tricks. I try to train harder off the hill, so then on the hill, you know, everything's kind of more slow motion. With this coming season, I look at everything like a marathon, and it's to just stay on my feet, stay consistent, stay healthy. I think if I can make Beijing, would just be, first off, another dream come true. I mean, to be able to have the opportunity to go to 2 is insane. To be able to honor your grandparents a second time is pretty extraordinary.